Next up, we've got the amazing Paul Hollyroyd. I always say your name wrong, Paul. Hollyroyd. It's Holroyd. But I see it as like Hollyoaks. I don't know. It's Holroyd. Paul Hollyroyd. Known as Green Beard Vegan Poetry. Verse. Paul the Poet is the author, it's right here, author of Green Beard's Vegan Verse. He uses his rhymes to fight the crimes of our times in a world gone mad. A voice for the voiceless, a choice for the choiceless, and as bold as a baked bean with a beard. Please give it up for Paul Holroyd!
I don't have the beard at the moment either, just a baked bean. Right, my son's told me not to use any of my sweary ones, which narrows it down quite a lot. I hadn't brought anything to read, so I'm just going to have to go from memory. So hopefully these will be okay. I'm going to start with sorry. I'm sorry to animals everywhere for the part I played in your death. I'm taking the blame and feeling the shame for paying toward your last breath. I've been wearing your skin and eating your kin for so many years before seeing that you're worth so much more. Now I can't ignore you're an innocent, sentient being. I have no excuse for the awful abuse. I was selfish and just didn't think. I know it's not fair, but I thought you were there to provide us with food and a drink. Guilt grips my heart and it tears it apart, and you're still being murdered today. Your sacrifice is the ultimate price, and we're fighting to alter your fate. We're telling your truth and showing the proof, but for most it's already too late. You were born on death row and you're going to go to the slaughter before very long. I'm sorry. It's clear that you're living in fear, and I'm sorry it's taking so long. I'm sorry to animals everywhere for the lives you're forced into giving. I'm ashamed of my race and our awful disgrace of making you die for a living. So I'm making the choice to lend you my voice, though it never could right all my wrongs. I'll speak up for you all, but deep down, most of all, I'm sorry it took me so long. Thank you. This is the V word. Don't say the V word. It puts some people off. They act as if you swore or spat a word out with a cough. They hear that word and straight away you see them start to tense. They think that you're attacking, so they go on the defence. If you say the V word, get ready to be schooled about your health and how your diet choices have you fooled. They'll talk about tradition and the normal way to live, and how animals are happy with the lives they want to give. Don't say the V word. Use another word instead. You wouldn't want to make them think about the way they're fed. You can say you're vegetarian, that seems to be okay, but shorten it to vegan and you'll see them run away. Plant-based describes the food you eat, but not the life you live. Being vegan is a lifestyle, there's no other word to give. They think it's too extreme that we care about all life, but it's fine to fund the violence of the bloody butcher's knife. Don't say the V word unless you want to fight. It's hard for them to understand that they might not be right. If you use the V word, you'd better know your stuff. It doesn't matter what you say, for them it's not enough. It's such a massive change to make they think inside their head. Much easier not to change at all and keep eating the dead. So if you say the V word, make sure you say it loud, because if you are a vegan, then of course you should be proud. Thank you. I'm going to share the story now of how I became a vegan. It was the night we met Vincent, the vegan vampire. It was a clear, starry night with the moon shining bright as we sang songs around the campfire. When in flies a bat, he was the size of a rat who suddenly transformed to a vampire. Good evening, he said. I wish to be fed, so I followed the sound of your song. There's no need to panic. Let's not make it manic, and I'm sure that we'll all get along. Well, I'm sure that he smelt the pure terror we felt and the blood running cold through our veins. His mouth opened wide and the long fangs inside were covered with blood-coloured stains. When he chuckled, we buckled. Our fear was white-knuckled, but none of us moved from our spot. He went to the fire and the flames climbed higher like a pyre, but he didn't look hot. There wasn't a sound as we sat on the ground as if bound by invisible rope. As though hypnotised, we looked in his eyes with surprise as they offered some hope. When he started to speak, we felt weak, very meek, but we hung on his every word. The things that he said, this undead prince of dread, were ever so slightly absurd. My name's Vince. Please don't wince, as I hope to convince you I'm really not after your blood. I'm a vampire, of course, but the source of my force is a story that's misunderstood. Before I was turned, I'd already learned not to yearn for an animal's flesh. I'm a vegan vampire, and it's not my desire to require blood, no matter how fresh. All I'm asking of you, a blood orange or two, some beetroot or anything red. I supplement vitamins, ensuring I vitamin daily to keep myself fed. But as I'm looking at the cooking you've been tucking into here, all the meat and milk and blood, it makes me sick. I would be oh so good at sucking blood if that was my desire. Don't get me wrong, I'm super strong and quick. The real monsters here are you. So the thing I'm going to do is inject into your neck a new perspective. You'll awaken in the morning with the realization dawning that your lives now have a strong vegan directive. He moved like lightning, frighteningly tightening his jaws around each of our throats, his fangs pierced with a burning, a yearning to learn how to turn our carnivorous coats. And I started to weep as I drifted to sleep and saw Vincent creep out of sight. We slept soundly around that fire on the ground as we all found our way through the night. When we woke up at dawn and we spoke with a yawn of a hunger we couldn't resist, we couldn't stop raving about our new craving, behaving as if we were pissed. Now we're spreading the word, we're compelled to be heard, no more murder will tarnish our plate, since that night at the campfire and Vincent the vampire's desire that we alter our fate. So we travel by night as we fight the good fight, and our bite ignites hope and compassion. We speak up for the weak and the meek and the bleak in a friendly but no-nonsense fashion. If you ever meet Vince while you're eating your minced body parts, then you better reflect. He's a nice enough guy, but your pie might be why you find vegans a pain in the neck. Thank you. Poultry poetry. Just a few weeks old, and you have them for dinner. Does that make you feel proud? Do you feel like a winner? Those helpless babies have just been born, and in just a few weeks their bodies are worn. Fatten so quickly, they outgrow their legs, unable to stand, bred for meat, not for eggs. Then turned into burgers and nuggets and things, and you gorge on their bodies, their legs and their wings. Chickens and turkeys and ducks and geese, you suck on their bones all covered in grease. Their feed funneled in as if fuel in a truck, and you eat the same way because you don't give a cluck. Their overstuffed bodies make them look fully grown. Their lives just begun and to slaughter their throne. You call it a feast and give thanks for your meal, but those lives weren't given. The true word is steal. You say it's up to you, what you eat is your choice, but what would they choose if they had a voice? They're sentient beings, they can feel, they can think, and we reduce them to scraps to be washed down the sink. You see them as something, not the someone they are, some inanimate object like a bike or a car. If we could see through their eyes, do you know what we'd find? Monsters do exist in this world, and they're called mankind. Hidden costs. You say you got a bargain. It only cost £1. It's the cheapest bacon butty that you think you've ever found. You think that you're a winner with no thought of what's been lost, but what's included when you buy it is a crucial hidden cost. That blood on your hands, which has paid for that sandwich, comes at a great expense. The price was cut with a knife through the strife of a life. Is a life only worth a few pence? That £1 that you paid, I'm afraid, should have stayed in your pocket. I'm not being funny. It's a pound of flesh from a piglet's creche, freshly killed, and you paid the blood money. That butty was cheap, but the price is too steep for the weeping pigs and their mother. In your haste not to waste any coins for the taste, you've placed a hit on another. You're paying a hitman. Your morals are shit, man, if you think that sandwich is cheap. It's paid for with blood. Understood, and you should plant your ethics a little more deep. You say your cheeseburger and milkshake are half the price of mine. You wonder why I never want to join you when you dine. You ask me why I'd rather want to pay a higher price, why I choose the food I do when you think yours is just as nice. Well, what you fail to factor in is when they trail the tractor in, it's to steal the newborn baby from the cow. That milk that makes your cheese leaves those babies on their knees because the food their mother made them is yours now. So the price you pay today to take away your takeaway is because they took away the frightened babies. Don't tell me that it's cheap as a million mothers weep while you keep drooling for their milk like dogs with rabies. As if their misery's not complete, you take a seat to eat your treat. Do you think that meat you're eating didn't want to live? When you spend, you send them to be killed, the hooks are filled, their blood is spilled, and still you think it's cheap for what you give. Included in the price you pay, so nice you say, to slice away, is torture, rape, and murder on demand. They're innocent and sentient and don't deserve malevolent mistreatment to be labelled as a brand. There's hidden costs of eggs and milk, feathers, leathers, wool and silk, medicines, toiletries, steaks, bakes, chocolate cakes and honey made in hives. They only cost you money, but they cost someone their lives. Thank you.